As you know, I'm a big fan of indie games, and I'm always on the lookout for the next potential hidden gem. And I think I may have come across one that really does have the potential to be a really great game. The game is called GigaSword by indie developer Jack Breen, aka Studio Hybrid. These are my first impressions from the demo that is currently available on Steam. Links to the demo and information on the game can be found in the description box below should you wish to check it out. So GigaSword is an action puzzle platformer metroidvania style of game that has the look and feel of an old school Nintendo or Super Nintendo game. You play as a young orphan boy named Ezra, who wields a giant yet heavy blade. The weight of the blade does play a part in how the game actually plays, and I'll address this unique aspect of the game shortly. Your objective seems to be to make it through and eventually reach the top of the Nestrium, which is a giant tower-like structure containing what seems to be many different areas or zones. The demo contains the tutorial zone, which is called the Outskirts. This teaches you your basic abilities such as roll, jump and attack, etc., as well as how to drop and transport your sword, to which I'll talk about in a moment. It also contains the monastery, which is the first level of the game. And this level is actually pretty big, and on my first playthrough it took me around 35 minutes to complete, but I'm sure I still had a lot more to explore and discover in this level. The level itself contains numerous enemies and puzzles that you must defeat and overcome in order to progress to the end of the stage, to which you will then encounter an end of level boss. The puzzle side of the game is really enjoyable, as your sword can be used to both push blocks or open specific doors, but it can also be both your asset and a hindrance in certain situations. For example, your sword is big and heavy and packs a punch, meaning you can destroy your enemies or break through walls. But there are times when you need to reach a platform with a door only your sword can open, yet that platform cannot be reached whilst carrying your heavy sword. This means you have to put it down. Doing so means you are now unable to attack any enemies that may lie ahead of you, which makes you more vulnerable, and instead you now have to use your jumps and rolls to avoid them. However, dropping your sword allows you to jump higher and grab onto ledges that were once unreachable to you whilst holding your sword. This then enables you to lower ladders or operate elevators to let you transport and pick up your sword to then reach those areas. This is such a simple yet enjoyable aspect of the game. There were no puzzles that could not be solved within a short period of time, but if done right, where the puzzles could become more thought-provoking and challenging in later levels, then this really could add to the gameplay even more. When you kill an enemy, they can drop health pots should you need them, and they always drop ore, which can be used to upgrade your weapon with special abilities to make you more powerful. There seems to be quite a range of these abilities which will no doubt benefit you as you progress. When you do die, you will lose your ore, but they can be re-obtained by making your way back to where you died, and they will appear in the form of a chest that you open up to regain the lost ore. Save points seem to be well placed, so you won't find yourself backtracking a long way if or when you do die. Speaking of save points, this is also where you can upgrade your weapon by spending your ore, as well as where you can turn in feathers that you may have found whilst exploring the level. Collecting 5 feathers hidden within the level upgrades your maximum health. This gives you a reason to fully explore the levels, as you will no doubt need those upgrades as you progress to no doubt more challenging areas of the game. I have very few issues with the game as it stands right now, but there are a few things I would like to see added or changed if it is indeed possible. Please note these are just my personal opinions on the game as it stands right now based on the demo, so these suggestions could well be in the pipeline or being worked upon by the dev as we speak. Number 1 would be a mini-map. Yes, you can access the map at any point by pressing the select button, which gives you a nice and simple yet detailed overview of where you are. However, this can somewhat slow you down by constantly having to open it up to find out where you need to progress to. For example, finding the room with the locked door for the key you have just acquired. A mini-map in the top right hand corner of the screen, for example, could be helpful, to at least help you with your bearings, as you are frequently going up and down ladders and elevators, as well as going from room to room, so you can quite easily lose sense of where you are in relation to where you need to get back to. This could be a tad frustrating in later levels, especially if they turn out to be even larger than what's included in the demo. This is not a necessity, but it would be a nice quality of life addition if it were possible. Number 2 would be the ability to rebind your controls. I always state that this minor detail is actually really important to a lot of people, especially if you have a disability of some sort, or just for personal preference. For example, I would have liked to have rebinded my roll button to the right bumper button on the controller, instead of the default selection of the left bumper button. This would have just been more comfortable and natural for my style of player. It's little touches like this that can really make a difference. Number 3 is screen shake. The game has what I'll call a screen shake effect when you use your weapon, and this causes the screen to judder, aka shake. This is no doubt enabled, if I'm right on this issue, to reflect the impact of your weapon. However, at times I did find this a little jarring, and would have liked the ability to turn this down, or even off if possible. Another game that has this kind of effect is an indie game called Katana Zero, and that game gives you the option to either turn down the effect or to completely switch it off, which can help people who may find viewing this effect somewhat uncomfortable. I could be wrong about this effect being in the game, but to me the shaking of the screen was noticeable. So my overall conclusion of the game, from what I've played of it so far from the demo, is really positive, as I've really enjoyed my time with it. I've added it to my wishlist on Steam and look forward to playing the full game when it is eventually released, which I believe is hoped to be released in 2023. I believe that GigaSword does have the potential to be a really decent game, and I hope it gets the visibility it needs to do well. Anyway guys, links to the demo are in the description box below if you are interested and want to give it a try. So thanks for watching, please do subscribe, and I'll see you next time.